Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you all are. Welcome to Constructing Connections, CMR. Off to a good start already.
That's right.
CRM.
Should have gone with the headsets.
Should have gone with it. Yeah, we decided to go headsetless today. So CRM strategies in construction. Good to have you here with us today. I'm John Goff. I'm Director of Business Development here. I've been doing CRM for construction and design firms for the last 5+ years. Prior to this, I was at Oracle. I was doing database and security over there. And prior to that, wholesale lumber.
Awesome. And hey, John, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Chris. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right. So, hey, my name's Chris Fay. I'm the founder and CEO of TrebleHook. We're hosting this, obviously, this conversation today. I had about a decade in commercial and industrial construction as a project manager, director of business development, and then have been running our technology organization for the past 13 years. So, TrebleHook is actually about 3 years old as an organization, but it's part of a broader parent company called TPM that's been in the AEC and manufacturing space now for actually we're in our 51st year. And John, I just have to say the last webinar that we did was amazing, but the new webinar setup that we have here, this little podcast room,
making progress.
I'm loving this.
Yeah, it's good. Love it. So thanks, Chris. Yeah, before we dive right into the main topic, we want to just lay the groundwork, talk a little bit about what CRM is, and people have different interpretations. But then just talk about why the strategies are important, and a little bit about the playing field. There's a lot of CRM companies out there, so just kind of talk about the landscape a little bit. So CRM is customer relationship management software. Most businesses are using a CRM. Construction is definitely lagging behind. If you look at the different industries that use CRM, manufacturing and construction are at the bottom. But there are a lot of needs for CRM in construction, and some of those you see right here. So you're dealing with a lot of different clients, and if you're a GC, you've got subs, and you've got engineers, and you've got architects, and you're all looking towards winning that project and ultimately executing on the project. So tracking those relationships is key. You have to track a lot of details that are associated with the project as you're going along, to monitor the progress of the pursuit and the project, and also to go back and look historically at those records as well. And then figuring out how to leverage all the data that you've captured. You really don't want to capture data just for the sake of capturing data. You want to be able to use it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and obviously, we talk about CRM today. In the TrebleHook world, we actually talk more about project pursuit as being kind of our coined term. But everyone knows and has learned about CRM and some of the major players out there.
Yeah, we would have had project pursuit, but when people are searching online for, they're looking for CRM, so we might not get found.
We don't own that category yet, but it's on the docket.
One day. Yeah. So you can see just the landscape. There's a lot of players. Here are some of the top ones, some of the major players. Salesforce, kind of shameless plug here. TrebleHook is built on the Salesforce platform. Far and away the market share leader. You've got others behind it. The Gartner Magic Quadrant, if you all are familiar with that, you want to be in the top right corner. You've got ability to execute here, as well as completeness of vision. And so if you're in the top right, it means you're excelling at both of those. And you can see that Salesforce is just far and above, like apart from everybody else.
Yeah, and I think, in construction specifically, but in the AEC community, there's tons of solutions out there, and I think that's really probably one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation today, is to help folks in this industry really kind of wade through the options and to figure out how to better develop a strategy for their business.
Yeah, because it's not easy. So when we talk about strategies, it's you're looking at. I love this slide. Chris picked out this visual But talk about why this visual, Chris, and why it makes sense here in this context.
It's awesome. and I also just thought, just quick housekeeping tip. We've got so we got a bunch of folks that are on the call today. We are going to leave time at the end of our session for questions. So you should have an opportunity to type in questions. Our handy dandy director over here, Alex, will be fielding questions and sending them over our way. If for some reason we don't get to your questions, we'll follow back up with you after it. So yeah, so I hope I don't have anybody from Ready Light on the call today, because it would be a but you know, I thought this would be a good visual for us. I mean, I was in the construction industry. I built a lot of projects and led a lot of projects. And, you know, the thing about CRM, or really any enterprise solution, it's not just taking the low bid on a porta potty, right? Not all CRMs are created equal. Not all CRM or project pursuit companies are created equal. And similarly in the construction space, I mean, not all construction companies are created equal. We all have unique capabilities about our businesses in the construction space, whether it be your size, your region, your expertise, the experience that you have in your business, the age of your workforce, the innovation or progressive strategy you might employ, you know, if your firm is growing or not, where you are in transition. There's so many things that differentiate construction companies. It's a very similar thing in the CRM space. So it's not like just taking the low bid on a porta potty, right? It's actually it's figuring out how you want to progress your business forward and where CRM fits in that. And what a lot of people don't know, you know, CRM's not just for the sales guy over in the corner, right? Or the girl that's over sitting in marketing. I mean, CRM, if done effectively, can really be an enterprise-wide solution that ultimately ends up being a single source of truth. So, you know, today we want to talk a lot about the strategies if you're either new to CRM for the first time, you know, you're investigating putting CRM, or maybe you have a CRM or pursuit tool in your business, and maybe you're struggling with some utilization and adoption.
Absolutely.
Just want to really make sure we're clear on some of the top strategies that can help us get to success.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I was just going to touch on it, and Chris, you hit on, really, you've got firms who have a CRM. They're really happy with it. You know, they're firing on all cylinders. They've got, you know, heavy utilization and adoption. They've got the reporting built out. Leadership has the dashboards they need. They're in a good place. Similarly, you have firms that don't have or don't need a CRM. They're happy with the way, you know, their current processes. They're happy with their current level of business. They you know, they're not going to go out and look for a new CRM. Most of y'all don't fit into those categories here today, I would imagine. It's pretty much, we have a CRM, but we know we could be getting more out of it, or we don't have a CRM, but we're maybe overwhelmed by, like, what do I even look for? Where do I start? So,
and I think the cool thing is we're probably the first tech company that has a porta potty on slide 3.
We've made history today.
Hopefully we've made history. We need to call the Guinness Book of World Records book. So,
so these are the 10 areas that we're going to dive into, and we'll start with your why.
Yeah. So I honestly, when I think about strategies in general, I think less about the solution itself and really broader and more strategic. You know, strategies can be applied to your business, your personal life, your family. You know, there's so many different ways you can deploy strategies. So if we're talking about CRM, or if we're talking about anything, really is starting with the why.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about if I'm a business leader in construction and I'm thinking about going down this path of CRM and project pursuit, I really want to make sure I understand why we're doing those things. You know, I need to understand, like, hey, where's my company today and where am I headed in the future? Yep. You know, am I growing as a business? Am I staying steady state? You know, secondly, like, are there existing pain points? You know, we invest in technology and we work to solve problems because pain exists.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love analogies. I mean, coming from the construction industry, and, you know, I bring a lot to that in the way we lead our company today. But, like, you know, as your building gets bigger, you need to make sure your foundation is strong. As your company gets bigger and more advanced, you need to make sure your foundation is strong, and your tech stack and what you have inside of your business is the core of that foundation. So, the first thing is obviously really understanding where your company is today and where you're heading in the future, and then what pains exist that are going to prevent you from getting to where you are, where you want to be in the future. And then lastly, and honestly, this is an issue we see sometimes is the team bought into taking action and implementing change. Yeah. It's great to have a vision. It's great to know that I have pains, but if the team is not bought into making changes, let's not make any change. Right, so everything starts with the why.
Absolutely. And on the second one, I was just going to quickly say that when you're talking about the pains, small pains today, as you grow in the future, become bigger and bigger and bigger pains.
Yep.
So the time to address them is really, sooner rather than when it's got to be such a pain point that
cracks in the foundation today only get worse as you get bigger. That's right.
Exactly. So this is something we say so much we should probably have it tattooed somewhere. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Yep. We talk about TrebleHook and CRM and really any system that's going to grow with you as being a journey and not a destination.
Yeah, just with any technology adoption, and we, like I said, we talk about this a lot. Is look, this is a journey, not a destination. Again, we're not bidding out porta potties. Porta potty shows up and it can now be put to good use. But this is a strategy that's going to be implemented and developed over time. And so you think about a construction project, right? I mean, I think about some of the projects that I built back in the day. You have a vision of where you are going to go, and a blueprint or a plan set of where you're going to be in the future, and then you start laying the foundations and focusing on the most critical portions of the project first, and then you start layering on additional pieces to the project over time to ultimately meet your goals on the project. It's very similar in the CRM space, and so this has to be something that's going to come together over time. One of the things that can make a CRM or really any technology adoption fail is for you to try and solve all the world's problems on day one.
Yep.
Right? You can't do it. It's not a great way to roll out a piece of technology. So when we talk about there being a journey, it's first understanding that you have a vision and a blueprint or a plan of how to get where you are today to where you want to be. And then what we recommend typically is, if I think about a building being built, I'm going to put my foundation up, I'm going to put my structure up, and maybe my core systems, right? That's the core of the building. What are the top 3 pain points that you're trying to address today? So if you fast forward 30, 60, 90 days into an implementation of CRM, what are the top 3 pain points you got to address? Yep. And so that could be, look, I just want to get all of my contact database in one centralized location. Yep. Hey, I want to get that team off of Excel spreadsheets. I want to figure out some way to have more advanced reporting. And then over time, you're going to start leaning on that technology to do more and more and more for you.
Yeah, exactly. And no two firms necessarily are going to start with the same 3 pain points to solve first. That's really where just kind of having a consultative partner to come in and help you evaluate that. What's most important to you is the best place to start. So understanding the project lifecycle, we look at a project as, a lead is just an early stage project. We've mapped out a project lifecycle in TrebleHook to accommodate the way that you pursue and land new work. But it's really important to understand your project lifecycle. You want to just kind of talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we establish our why and our vision. We now understand this is a journey, not a destination. Whether it's with a partner or prior to engaging in a search for CRM, I really want to make sure I'm mapping out. And I feel like I'm one of our presidential candidates every time I do that. You want to make sure you're mapping out and understanding your project life cycle. So can you clearly document the way that projects move through your business? And I'm not talking about the way that you're delivering work, like the project, the physical projects that's in the field. How do projects move through your business?
Yeah.
Who do they touch? What's the various technologies that are deployed to do that? Who's involved and when? And then where are the potential breakpoints?
Yeah.
One of the things I know that we do in our implementation process is we want to map out that general project lifecycle so that we're applying the technology to fit the way that you move projects through. And, at the bottom of the screen here, you can see an example of kind of like our standard project lifecycle, and starting with leads, or hey, I just heard about a job. Opportunities are ones that we've decided to pursue. Proposal stage is when we're talking about RFPs and RFQs and bid work. Award contract is when we're actually been verbally awarded the work. We're negotiating the contract, submitting for startup. That means we're getting the project into our ops team and contracts team to get ready. In progress is when we're actually executing the scope of work. We move into the closeout stage. That's when we gather final marketing information and photos and details. And finally, we move a project to completed. So really understanding your project life cycle, who's involved, what departments are there, inefficiencies and pain points is going to give you a great foundation to start really looking at the right type of solution for your business.
Right. And what you've really outlined there, you may have different terminology. You may call stages different things. You may have a lot of different kind of, different ways of calling the stages that you go through. But the overall view is pretty much follows that trajectory.
Yep.
So why is it so important? You've got all these technologies that are out there, and you've got market leaders, and you saw a lot of them in the larger CRMs that are out there. You see SAPs and Oracles and names like that. They're not built for construction, right? But there are some larger firms who use them. But for small, mid-size, larger firms, mid to large size firms, most are using construction focused ERPs for their financial system. They're using project management, bid software, estimating software, things that are tailored for their specific industry. What about CRM?
Yeah, I mean, really the exact same thing. I mean, the reality is in the construction space, we speak a different language than attorneys or product-based sales organizations or manufacturers. And so we want to make sure that whatever technology we invest in is purpose-built for our business. And you're exactly right. I mean, kind of the lay of the land, you've got the kind of the out-of-the-box HubSpot, Salesforce, and others, which are industry leaders in technology, but they're not purpose-built for construction. And then on the flip side, what we've seen is you have a lot of purpose-built tools for construction, but don't necessarily have all the advancements and technical abilities to scale that you do with some of the larger ones.
Right.
So we really see there being a nice blend there. But why do you want to invest in something that is purpose-built for construction? Well, obviously it's going to speak your language already out of the box. It's going to speed up, your time for adoption. You also get to gain insights and best practices from other firms that have been there before you, right? So a lot of, I know ours included, we rely on our customers to help dictate the future of the product, right? And so when you're investing in a construction-based CRM solution, you're getting the learnings of a lot of other firms that can help you grow and scale. And we talked about kind of the benefit of aligning with people that speak your language, but really the last thing, and we talk about utilization and adoption here in just a minute, but utilization and adoption is like a key. Like the reality is if people are not using the tool that you're investing in, then you don't need the tool.
Right.
And having something purpose-built for your business is one of the ways to really amplify, utilization and adoption in the business. Yeah,
that's the number one reason why CRM systems and most software systems fail is lack of adoption. Mm-hmm. I see it all the time. Especially if you have like one or two people who are really gung-ho and they're like, we need a CRM, they bring it in and then they exit the firm and then there's nobody left who's on board with it to begin with. Yep. And then it just kind of dies out and then the next generation comes in and they're looking to start over again. Yeah. But the important thing, the other thing that I really wanted to talk about, just platforms for scale, and why that's important. I talk to so many firms who we've outgrown our existing system, mm-hmm. and nobody likes to buy new software. Nobody likes to change software. Getting it right the first time is always better than multiple generations. So talk about the platforms for scale as it in terms of CRM.
Yeah, I mean, really, anytime we're investing in technology, we want to make sure that we're investing in a piece of technology that's going to serve our business not only today but into the future. I mean, John, you mentioned a second ago, like switching systems is a pain in the butt. Yep. It's a pain. It's hard, it's challenging, data migrations. You don't want to go through an evaluation and implementation of a CRM solution to now find that you've bought a company or you've doubled your business, and now that core foundation that you've invested in is not able to grow with your business. So, really making sure one of the strategies is to make sure that you're partnering with a solution, but also a partner that is investing in their business, right? They're looking towards the future and really focusing on where the technology could be. And we talked about solving pain points for not only today, but also tomorrow. When we spoke earlier, we talked about this being a journey, not a destination. So, with all the CRM tools that are out there, you're not going to implement all of the advancements that are in place on day one. Right. You just want to make sure that as your business grows, that technology is outpacing your needs so that you're always able to leverage and adopt those things. And then, kind of the other thing is we talk about platforms for scale. And this is really one of the key reasons why we built our business. Every construction company has a bit of nuances about them. Everybody does things a little bit differently. You have to have a platform that can iterate and change and be customized and purpose-built for your business. Yeah. And so having something that's not only built for the construction industry, but something that can augment with your business as it changes to say, hey, we just rolled out a new risk management division. We need to implement some sort of process to do that. Perfect. I want to make sure I've got the tech stack that can ingest that new technology. So investing in something for not only today, but for the future is going to make sure that you're set up for success long term.
Yeah, and the truth is we don't know what's going to happen in the future. If you look back 20 years ago, how important would it be to have a mobile app for your CRM, for example? Nobody was even thinking about that at that time. We don't know what the next technologies that are going to come along in the next years to come. What are we going to do with AI? What are we going to do? What's the landscape going to look like? We don't know. But what we do know is that we want to have technologies that are going to adapt and grow with those changes.
Right. That's exactly right. And it's funny you mentioned AI, and that's a question. When I talk to a lot of executives, there's all of these questions about AI, right? And so it's there's a lot of people out there talking about it. There's some people that are using it. And there's very few people that are truly seeing massive adoption of AI in their business. And so that's another thing for scale, is that it is going to change the way that we run all of our businesses. So things like AI, we want to make sure we're partnering with firms and solutions that are investing in that type of future.
Absolutely.
Like, I know for us, we're making massive investments to understand and see how we can implement AI into our space. Because what I see for our solution is I want a chat bot or a conversation that I can have with TrebleHook that says, hey, we're going up against this competitor in this market with this thing. Give me some insights and analytics. What's our chances of winning it? Yeah. How can we best position our firm and leverage that data to help solve that? So yeah, great point.
Absolutely. So really, utilization and adoption, we touched on this earlier. The number one most important thing, a tool that people are going to use, they're going to get, I always look at it, am I going to get more value out of using a tool than effort required to use that tool? Yep. And if the answer is yes, I get more value than effort put in, then I'm going to use it. If it takes me more effort than the value, I'm going to do it the way that I was always doing it, because that's the path of least resistance. But talk a little bit about kind of the three pillars of utilization and adoption and some of the other things that go along with that.
Awesome. Yeah. So kind of the journey and destination comment is very similar to these three pillars. We talk about these three pillars a lot. Our own kind of comments and thoughts around utilization and adoption with CRM, TrebleHook, or any solution. Our theory is this. Number one, you have to give your users an intuitive tool that's going to help them do their job better. Right. You have to give them something that they like to use, that helps them do their job and helps them improve as individuals. Have to, number one. Number two is you have to then give leaders and managers insights and tools that they can use to run the business, right? So if my users are leveraging a tool because they love it, and my leadership team is leveraging that tool to make decisions about the business, they're running weekly huddles and various meetings with a tool like this, it's going to drive massive accountability on the team. And then the third one is to figure out key processes that you can actually drive through the system. everybody is going to leverage technology a little bit differently, right? Like the two of us, we probably use our technology tools a little bit differently,
right.
But there's some core processes that we're going to drive through our technology that can't be overstepped. And I mean, one of the ones that we use, and quite honestly, I'll be honest with you, when we started the company, a number of years ago, we didn't foresee this being this big of an issue, but is our submit for startup process.
Right.
When business development and marketing and pre-con or our project management team wins work, there's typically a way that we then communicate that work to our operations, contracts, accounting team to get things set up in the system. Typically what we see is there's emails and, phone calls and maybe forms that people fill out. Yeah. And so, we've said, well, look, what if we run that entire submit for startup process directly through TrebleHook? That way we're getting good data integrity as we hand over from the pursuit team into the contracts team. So that's an example. So intuitive tools for users, leadership leveraging it, and then driving key processes.
And it really, that drives standardization and compliance across the organization as well, which is really important because otherwise you have 10 different people doing things 10 different ways.
Yep.
And then at the end, you're looking at the data and you're trying to make decisions based on what's been put in there, and people are doing things differently and it just doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I think, that's why, CRM is really for any size organization. You have one business developer all the way up to multi-locations and multi-divisions, but you want to drive uniformity and consistency across your business, no matter the size of your operation. So, but yeah, having utilization adoption, massive importance. The other thing obviously is mobility. We're all super mobile in our daily lives. In the construction industry, we have people that are at conferences and in the field on projects and in meetings in various office locations. So we have to have something that's available any device, anywhere we are in the world. And then, lastly is really thinking about this thing of it becoming our culture, right? Sometimes, we talked about this earlier today, sometimes CRM is viewed as, that's for the business developer over there for he or she to track projects, or that's just for marketing for them to do our project pursuits. It's not. It is a tool that can be leveraged across the enterprise. And so you want that tool to become a part of your culture and not just something that one disparate team is using.
Is it in TrebleHook? If it isn't in TrebleHook, it doesn't exist.
Right.
That's the way to look at it. And hopping right over to integrations. This is one that comes up early in conversations and is really a major factor in decision making for CRM. So when we have early conversations, can it integrate with this? Can it integrate with that? What's the value of that integration? But integrations done well, as it says here, can really add rocket fuel to your organization.
Yeah, I love rocket fuel. There's actually a book called Rocket Fuel that I've read a number of years ago. But yeah, so here's the deal. We are going to have in all of our businesses, whether you're construction, in the tech space, whatever, we're going to have a multitude of different platforms and software solutions that we use in our company. As a owner of a business, I would love to just have one piece of technology that's going to run everything.
The magic software.
Yeah. But the reality is, in today's world, that just doesn't exist. Yeah. And so what you end up having to do is giving teams purpose-built solutions that can really help them operationalize. We've seen ERP companies come out with their own CRM system. They're an ERP company, and they're like, oh yeah, I got a CRM. It's okay, but they're really an ERP company. We've seen CRM companies or project management companies try and get in the space or vice versa. And the reality is, the way of the world is that you have to invest, you have to focus, and you have to be excellent at a key area of the business. And so, when we're talking about investing in CRM or any technology, we want to make sure we have something that can integrate with the other solutions that we have in our business. Can we eliminate double data entry and manual Excel spreadsheets? I don't know how many times I've heard like, hey, I'm entering it here, and I'm entering it here, I'm entering it here, and then I'm providing an Excel recap to exec. So those are the things that we want to get rid of, and we can do so through effective integrations. And if you kind of look off to the right-hand side of your screen here, you see an example of actually one of our clients that has, you know, obviously invested in TrebleHook being kind of the single source of truth, that central point of not only CRM, but really a central point for their business, you know, and we're working through connections with CMIC, which is where they manage their financial data. Open Asset is how they're managing their digital assets and photographs. Procore is, in this case, how they're managing their RFIs and submittals and document control. They're leveraging MailChimp for email distribution. Ignite is where they're storing a lot of their core documents. Bridget Bench for resource planning on the front side, and obviously everybody in the world uses Microsoft for various reasons. And so when you have tools that can interact and connect, it can help you really bring all of that project data and streamline the workflows.
And it helps bring teams together too, because as I look at that, I'm looking at different individuals and different teams who are using those pieces of software. They may not be interacting with others very often.
That's right.
And when they do, it's emails and it's phone calls and it's things like that. By having a system that really is in the center of that universe, it connects everything. It connects people, it connects teams, as well as the systems and allowing for the data transfer.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the reality is, like we talked before, is, you know, having solutions that are built for scale. I mean, one of the reasons that we decided to leverage the Force.com, the Salesforce engine, as we call it, to build our solution is because, gosh, there were thousands of integrations that were already built, leveraging that platform, and we want to be able to connect to everything, right? We want to be able to connect to anything in the business. So absolutely a key way to add rocket fuel to a CRM implementation.
So you've got all the data, you've done the work, people are putting in the right data at the right time. Why are they doing all this? Yes, it's great for, you know, historical look backs. It's great for marketing teams to go back and see, you know, work that we did 2 years ago. We're bidding on a K through 12 project, and we did one very similarly, you know, a couple of years ago. We want to like get some of that data and use some of that. But in the bigger picture, taking kind of the aggregate of all the data that you're collecting, the importance of being able to get insights out of those reports and being able to do analytics.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons we invest in technology is we expect it to help guide and lead us to make better decisions about the business, right? Like, who wants to go search through thousands of lines of data and Excel spreadsheets to try and find, you know, bits and pieces of things that we can use in the business? I mean, we want that served up to us immediately. Yeah. And so we talk about really amplifying insights and analytics. I mean, if your systems are connected and you've got effective workflows and your foundation is in place, it really should be helping you make decisions that can support your growth. You know, you eliminate the manual reporting, the Excel spreadsheets, the Power BI dashboards that you've created, and really finally bring all of this data into one centralized location. And the power of having data in one centralized location gives you amazing insights into the business to just understand where you are, where you're going, what are some of the things you need to be looking out for, what are some of the predictive analytics that I can start thinking about the future of my business. These are the decisions that executives need, that business developers and marketers and project management need. They need those insights into the business so they know where to focus and direct their attention and how to ultimately grow their business.
Yeah, it's really what you're doing well and having that reinforced, you know, learning where you're winning, why, where you're losing, why. And then to be able to project out into the future, like, hey, we can make some corrections here too, or we can keep staying the course. We're doing this really well. We want to keep doing more of this. Hey, we've lost these last 3 jobs to this specific competitor, and for the same reason, maybe we need to course correct a little bit here.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think about, you know, what in our business and what we talk about here is, you know, leading and lagging indicators. Right. You know, lagging indicators are basically those indicators or KPIs that tell you how you did. And the one thing about a lagging indicator is you can't change them. Right. It's like, okay, that's great. That's what I did. What can we learn from that? One of the really valuable insights is if you can start getting leading indicators to success, because you can impact leading indicators. And so when you have this data connected and you start really focusing less on the lagging indicators, what did we bill, and more on the leading indicators, where are we going? Now you can start making course corrections to make sure you're on track for growth. So
yeah. Good stuff. So one of our hooks here. So we've got enhancing customer relationships, critical. You know, how do you nurture, enhance customer relationships? why that's so important with the CRM and so important with the selection that you make in a CRM.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reality is in our business, we talk a lot about ideal customer profiles, and in construction, it's the same way. I mean, who are the architects and the owners and the economic developers? Who are the people that I need to really spend my time and energy and effort nurturing, because that's where I'm going to get the larger pro rata share of work. So we talk a lot about ICPs, but in the TrebleHook world, and I think we'll talk about that here in a second, is an IPP, an ideal project profile. But when it comes to relationships, the reality is there are key people we need to stay in contact with on a periodic basis. And one of the things I know, just running a sales organization, when you are top of mind consistently with the people, with your customers and prospects, when a need arises, you're going to be the first person they call.
Absolutely.
And so leveraging a system that can help you not only identify your ideal customer profiles, but help you nurture those so that you are top of mind is how you make sure you're at the front, at the table or the front seat when that project comes along.
Yeah.
And then obviously one of the things on relationships, and especially as your firm grows, you might have multiple people inside of your organization that are touching the same client. Well, if Jan in project management and Bill in contracts is talking to the same customer, I want those two people to know it.
Yeah.
So we talk about seamlessly connecting with day-to-day tools like Outlook and others so that activity can be seamlessly logged. That way the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. And then finally, really for us, when we talk about relationships, it's obviously around our customers and our external companies that we're working with, but it's also internally. The larger your company gets, the more departments and divisions you might have. And so how are we streamlining connections between business development, marketing, pre-con and estimating, contracts and operations and accounting?
Yep.
That communication is equally critical. And so when we look at CRM solutions, we want something not only that can help us operationalize the connections and relationships with external organizations, but also make sure that we can leverage that same tool to drive and enhance internal relationships.
Yeah, that's a great point, because the number of times that I hear, whether it's different people from different offices calling on the same account, not realizing it, it's a bad look and it's inefficient. Even people from the same office. I mean, if as I think you said, one hand doesn't know what the other is doing, that's a good way to look at it, because if I go and I'm like, oh, I have a conversation with somebody and it looks good, and I'll go talk to him on Tuesday, and then somebody else from the same client calls and talks to Chris, and he's like, that's great, I'll go talk to you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're doing. It's just not a bad look, and it's not the most efficient use of our time. Yep. or for the customer's time.
Yep.
So finally, the final hook and the tagline here. Pursue and land the right projects. It's really not, a lot of our focus is not on helping just win more work, but the focus is on winning more of the right work. You want to focus your efforts on where you're going to be most profitable, where you have the best relationships, what's going to help drive your business forward. That's where you really want to focus. It's pursuing and landing the right projects for your firm.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is one of the reasons this is the outcome to everything that we were talking about before. Right. Is can you move your business in a direction that's going to increase your win rates, increase your profitability, make you more differentiated and competitive? This is a competitive space, right? I mean, in construction is super competitive. The tech space is super competitive. You have to be super clear on your value proposition, and what it is that you bring to the market that is different than other people in the space. And so, by investing in the right solution, you can, we talk about this past project performance, but you can leverage your past project performance to help you predict and pursue future project success. So, am I very clear on all the projects that I've won and all the projects that I've lost? Am I clear on why I'm winning and why I'm losing? Yeah. And what is my ideal project profile? What is my ideal customer profile? Yeah. And what if instead of just saying, hey, I serve everything in the commercial marketplace in a particular region, what if you became the best in the region at a particular type of project or a particular type of deliverable? So oftentimes, I've gone into small companies and I've gone into large companies and said, hey, cool, what's your ideal project profile? Like the best one. You went and nailed a bunch of them. They're like, I don't really know. Like one that we make a lot of money on. Okay, well, great. Well, like what does that actually mean for you?
Yeah, break it down a little bit here.
Right. So we need to understand what it is that makes an ideal project profile that for us. And then we need to leverage technology to help steer our energy and effort to go pursue more of that work. Right. So we can start thinking about our go, no-go process and giving us insights and project scoring. So if I know what my ideal project profile is, and I go out and I'm starting to pursue 10 projects, I want a predictive project score that's going to help me figure out which of those 10 projects I really need to spend my time focusing on. Yep. And if you have those insights and those predictive analytics, then gosh, now I can put my team to spend their time in the right area. I mean, what if you could give our team 10%, 20% of their time back by eliminating the project pursuits that are of no good and putting them towards the ones that are truly differentiated. So for us, and the reason we kind of made this our tagline when we started is because this is the secret sauce. Every CRM out there can help you, track a name of an account and the name of a project. Very few CRM solutions out there in the marketplace can really help provide a connected experience across the entire project lifecycle. And an even smaller few, if any, other than maybe some can really start giving you those predictive insights to help you steer your business going forward. And so this is why this one is such a critical one. And maybe it was one, maybe it was 10, but it was definitely one of the most important.
But you see a lot of firms trying to address this too with other tools. They just buy more software. They're buying Power BI.
Right.
They're buying Tableau. They're buying these other systems because they don't have the capability to do this type of analytics inside the CRM. So it's like, well, we must need additional software. Now you're just adding, more and more and more onto your technology stack and having another piece of technology to pay for and manage.
Yep, 100%. So those were really our 10. I mean, we talked about 10, and I just have to tell you, John, we are beautifully on time. We're doing math to make sure we're very respectful of your time. Through a lot of information. Shameless plug for TrebleHook. We intentionally don't want to talk a lot about us. We really just want to give you all some insights to help you grow your business. And we know that if we help you grow your business, then our company is going to be just fine. But we have to do a quick shameless plug for TrebleHook. I mean, we are a CRM project pursuit tool, purpose built for architecture, engineering, construction companies, and then we're actually built leveraging the power of the Salesforce platform. So we were able to leverage all of their insights and integrations and engine, but basically create a product that is purpose built for the AEC community. And working through integrations with lots and lots of vendors right now, from Autodesk to Procore to Dell Tech products and Ignite and Open Asset. So, obviously we have an ability to integrate with virtually any tool that we want. And then, we talked a lot about that platform for scale. Yeah. One of the things that we know is oftentimes out of the box solutions, you're stuck with out of the box. Mm-hmm. We don't believe you should be stuck with out of the box. So we want to take this out of the box solution and help augment and customize it for the way that you run your business. And that drives utilization and adoption. And then, for us, obviously, our team, we have 51 years of in our parent company of AEC industry experience, and we want to focus only on this. We're not selling to attorneys and accountants and sales organizations. We're exclusively focused there. And so, that's our shameless plug for TrebleHook. And I think, John, with that, we can probably hop over to some questions.
See if we got some questions. Absolutely.
Gonna look over to our DJ,
Alex the Hook Freeman. He's actually in my phone as Alex the Hook Freeman.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, not kidding.
And John's the TrebleHook. So the TrebleHook.
We're big on nicknames.
The Hook. Yeah. Well, it's funny. We talk. You have a. I remember we were going through the branding exercise with TrebleHook, and it's an awesome name. I'm so excited that we came about. We talked about a 3-pronged approach to project pursuit. We talk about landing customers and anchor customers, and it's like ingrained. This whole hook thing is ingrained in our DNA and culture. So. How much do firms need to budget for CRM?
So, that's a broad question. So, the answer to that one is it really varies, depending on the size of the firm, the needs of the firm, what your approach is really, what is it that you're, going back to your why, what is it that you're looking to accomplish? Where are you today? And what are you trying to solve for? Well, if you're going to, hey, we're growing super fast. We're having problems with communication and coordination. We need, 3 integrations. We need, all these different things. Well, that's going to take more time and it's going to cost more money. If it's something like, hey, we want to get in and drive some initial success, have a few users in the system. We just want to track activities. We want to centralize our project data. We want to get up, running fairly quickly and get that time to value really shortened. Well, then you're going to be spending a lot less. But
yep.
I mean, Chris, we've got our own packages.
Yeah, I mean, I
put together.
Like selfishly speaking, I mean, generally we know where the market is. I would say that by nature of licensing and implementation cost of where the market is, our system is extremely competitive for the vast value that we provide. I think just generally, if I'm answering that question off the hook, sorry, certainly depending on the size of your firm and how much you want to tackle, handful of users, easy use case, you're in the thousands of dollars on an annual basis, kind of first year, and maybe thousands of dollars for each year. If you want to start jumping up and solving more enterprise solutions, I'll call that maybe a phase 2 approach, adding more functionality, getting more people in the business, you're probably getting into the tens of thousands of dollars. And then, if you really want to go all in with full enterprise and integrations and automations all the way across your business, you're probably in the, mid to high tens of thousands of dollars. Right. I think any CRM solution, no matter the size of your organization, is not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
The companies that we were working with are in that much lower range. And honestly, as it relates to cost, one of the things I'd kind of just tell you as a suggestion, no matter what solution people decide to go with, is kind of this journey, not a destination. Right? Is start small. Like pick the top 3 priorities. Pick the few people in your business that you can really demonstrate success with and drive utilization and adoption, and get those people started. I mean, it's okay. Like, start small, demonstrate success, and then ultimately scale. And so if you have a partner and a solution that can scale with you, it's not about what you're spending that first year. It's how do you get it in the business? How do you demonstrate success? And then how do you start asking that technology to do more and more for you over time? So great question.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So how long does it take to implement a new CRM and realize its value?
Yeah. Time to value on implementation. Well, similar to the cost question. Really, implementation can be. We have some customers we've gotten in less than a month. We've got others that take several months or more, and it's really an ongoing process. We're actually doing some more things with managed services now too. Right. It's like every month we look. We'll have X amount of hours that we want to dedicate towards improving the platform for our customers. So. That one's an even broader answer to that question, but
the same methodology we talked about before. It kind of all depends on where you want to start. Obviously the easier the scope, the quicker you can get something up and running. And I mean, you said it before. I mean, like, super simple implementations. By the time that you go through, just discovery and project lifecycle, a few customizations and training, you're probably looking at 30 days or less. You start at that next level of adding more functionality, whether it be document creation, more people in the business, a more amplified submit for startup process. You could be 60 to 90 days, and then depending on the level of integration work that has to be done, you could be 3 months to 6 months. It all really depends. I think one of the things that I've heard in the industry and scares me to death, and one of the things that we built. The solution is like, this is not a 1-year implementation or a 2-year implementation that's costing our customers hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right. We want this to be easy to consume, easy to implement, easy to adopt, and to see value in the business. And that's how we've built our company. Yeah. And then I had one more point, but I forgot what it was.
Well, I'll pick up. I thought of something as you were talking there. A lot of it does depend on the customer that we're working with, on their availability and their willingness as well.
Yep.
We can go faster if they want to go faster a lot of times, but you throw in vacations and, we missed this meeting, and then pretty soon, like 3 weeks goes by that there wasn't any availability on the other end. Well, that's going to drag the project along as well. So it's definitely a two-way.
Yeah, it's a relationship, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a journey, not a destination for us and the client. And I remember what I said, and what I was thinking is, and we didn't really talk a lot about data.
Our favorite topic.
Yeah. So legacy data, right? I mean, every business runs their company a little bit differently and manages data a little bit differently. Oftentimes the messier the data, the longer it's going to take to get it cleaned up and to get it in the system. It's not that it can't be done. It's just a full understanding. So some of the times when we see projects starting to delay a little bit, it's because we're trying to bring in legacy data that's not in very good shape.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we always talk to clients about is, regardless of if you're looking at CRM or not looking at CRM, really taking a look at your project data, and is it clean? Is every new project that you're starting up and every new customer you're putting in the system, are we setting them up cleanly? Are there lots of duplicates? Is there blank fields that are being put in place? And so that is something that can really impact an implementation. And I remember we had a client. We were marketing had data. Business development had data. We had project management data. We had a legacy project management system. We had a legacy CRM system and their ERP system, trying to mash all of this information together. Yeah. And it was a lift. I mean, and obviously that's one thing that we do very well, is try and bring this data together and guide them. But that's one thing that can really amplify it. So. Yeah. So the question is, can you transfer data from Uninet to our platform? Absolutely. Yep. So actually, we've been very successful doing that and navigating how to export data from Uninet and then ultimately putting that into our system. On our side, our ability to receive data is pretty much unlimited as long as it's formatted in the right fashion. We have a pretty robust process by which that we bring that in. But I would say, of all of the legacy CRMs and solutions that we have that we've worked with, we've yet to be able to extract data, get it augmented into the way that TrebleHook needs it, and to bring it into TrebleHook. So I think short answer to that question is absolutely, and we've done that a number of times. Yeah,
it's actually. It's one that we're very familiar with, so that tends to go pretty smoothly. Also, other systems, customers who were on Salesforce, and they want to slide over to TrebleHook. That's a fairly easy lift as well. But yeah, from any system really, we've got the home for it in TrebleHook. We just need to really get it in the right format from whatever system that it's coming out of.
That's right.
These systems have the ability to export data, and we can just get it into the right tables and what we need to import it into TrebleHook.
Yep. I'm going to send the honey baked ham to Uninet one day. It's one of the reasons TrebleHook's in business. We appreciate their hard work. Awesome. All right. Well, gosh, it looks like we are magically on time at 2:52 Eastern.
Nice. Yes. For our West Coast folks, it's lunchtime.
Lunchtime, time to eat. They're like, y'all quit talking. I mean, John, this is awesome. For the folks that were out there, we sure hope there was a lot of value in you attending today. Certainly, if you want to contact us, there's lots of ways to get in contact with us. We are a very easy organization to work with, and happy just to talk shop with you. Ultimately, for us, this is a journey, not a destination.
That's right.
We want y'all to be successful, and so we're here for anything that you need. And so, John, anything else?
We really enjoyed it. Thank you for coming. It was a good topic. I could tell from the attendance that we picked a good topic. We'll be doing this again, soon.
Yep.
This is enjoyable. Hopefully you got some good value out of this.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Bye everyone.
All righty.